Greetings, all gallant sailors on YouTube. Welcome to Abyssal Recap. Today we'll sail our way to April 2022 to witness a satirical sci-fi thriller movie called Duel. Spoilers alert. Buckle up and take care. Sarah is a house girl who doesn't like socializing. Her father died a few years ago, and her mother, who has a strong desire for control, kept her away. Sarah also shared a flat relationship with her boyfriend as he often went on business trips. One night she drank some wine at bedtime. Unexpectedly, when she woke up in the morning, she found that her bed was covered in blood, but she didn't give a damn. She washed the sheets then came to the hospital. However, as she was registering, she vomited more blood. The doctor hurriedly took her to be hospitalized for a comprehensive examination. She told her boyfriend about her illness, but he responded coldly and said he was too busy to be there. Soon, the examination results showed that Sarah suffered from a rare stomach disease with a 98% death rate. The doctor advised her to prepare for the worst as soon as possible. When Sarah heard the news, she was calm as if it was none of her own business. The doctor also recommended her a clone project which was promoted to avoid the bereavement of patient's family. The clone would continue her life. According to the promotional video, Sarah learned that clones had different personality than the real one, although they are the same as the ontology in appearance. Clones need to learn the behavior, habit, interest and hobby of the ontology, so that they can well replace the ontology and live with family and friends. After consideration, Sarah called the clone agency. On the way, she realized that she was really dying and lost control of her emotions. The staff said that the cloning cost could be paid in installments. The clone would continue to pay for the cost after her death. The process of cloning was very simple, just a sip of saliva. 1 hour later, Sarah's clone was made, but there was a small glitch that Sarah's pupils are brown, and her clones are blue. She needs to wear colored contact lenses to be the same as her. Sarah didn't mind taking the flawed clone back. Later, she introduced the clone to her boyfriend, who had been very indifferent when he learned that Sarah had an incurable disease. But now he ironically developed a close relationship with the clone. When her boyfriend asked the clone what she wanted for dinner, the clone specifically said that she likes French food, which was actually what Sarah hated. 10 months later, Sarah came to the hospital for another examination. Unexpectedly, she recovered, but she was not happy at all. She came to her mother's home but to see her clone chatting with her mother happily. Sarah was furious. She was afraid that her mother would be sad, and she never told her mother about her severe illness. She also reminded the clone that she was not allowed to meet her mother before her death. Unexpectedly, the clone had been secretly contacting her. Sarah stated that according to the law, she could apply for decommissioning the clone. After hearing this, her boyfriend hurriedly pulled her out of the house and said that he had fallen in love with the clone. Even if she destroyed the clone, he would still not be with Sarah again. What makes Sarah even more enraged is that even her mother prefers the clone. Sarah has become an outsider. In response, the clone submitted an application for retention. The lawyer told Sarah that when the clones lived long enough, they could apply for retention if they were willing to live. However, the two could not exist at the same time. Now, it is necessary to decide who lives and who dies through a duel. The duel will be held a year later. She still had to pay for her clone as well as herself. To get ready for the duel, she took up self-defense and combat classes with a trainer, Trent, who also trained her mental adaptability by having her watching violent and bloody scenes, analyzing various deaths. He even arranged her to eyeball a live human anatomy. Sarah significantly improved herself through the tough training and learned how clones operate. Soon it would be the time for the duel. Sarah went to the clothing store to buy new clothes. Even if she dies, she wanted to die decently. But the duel was postponed for 1 month due to bad weather. Trent comforted her that waiting for 1 more month meant 1 more month of training. One day, during his training, Sarah found the clone was peeping her outside. She immediately shot at her with the crossbow. Then she chased the clone out and found the clone in a wood cabin and being unwilling to fight. The two had a peaceful conversation. Sarah accused clone of taking her life. The clone also admitted that her relationship with her boyfriend is not as pleasant as before. Plus she also got tired of her mother's phone calls and text messages. Then they went to a support group for people who survived the duel. They all had psychological problems because of killing people. At first Sarah thought it was the psychological tactics of the clone, but after listening to everyone's past, she seemed to waver. In particular, the clone thought that the real enemies were not themselves. The legislation forced them to have a cruel life and death duel. Sarah agreed. After that, the two bonded and agreed to escape past the border to live their lives. At the morning of the duel, Sarah drove to pick up the clone. The clone said she could not drive. but she didn't think it was difficult to learn. Soon they arrived at the destination and were ready to cross the border on foot through the forest. At this moment, the clone took out a bottle of water for Sarah. After drinking the water, blood started draining out of Sarah's mouth. Something was happening. At the duel arena, audiences and the host had been waiting for too long till they finally saw one Sarah coming. She explained that she was late because of a car accident. When the host asked her if she was Sarah or Sarah's double, she said she's Sarah. In the end, the duel ended with one side running away. In court, both of her boyfriend and her mother testified that the being here is the real Sarah, so the missing clone was listed as a fugitive. One day, Sarah's boyfriend suggested to have Mexican food at night. Sarah said that she did not like Mexican food, which was exactly what the clone dislikes, when she was driving her deformed car out. Her mother called to tell her that she had ordered colored contacts. Sarah broke down and cried hearing this. The movie ends here. There are two theories about the ending. One being Sarah was killed by the poisonous water. And the clone took her life. But she later found out she had to live a life she never wanted. Like Sarah's mother still forcing her to wear colored contacts. The other theory being Sarah survived because Trent's training. She received lessons about clones poisoning and might know her further tactics. Another hint would be her phone. Sarah broke her phone back in the store, and still used it at the end of the movie. She cried because she had to pretend to be the clone who would pretend to be her so that her family can be delighted. However, whoever survived the duel, they still had to suffer from the cruel world they could never change unless there's sequel. That's the end of today's video. If you do enjoy watching it, feel free to leave a like and consider to subscribe to channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Abyssal signing out.